panel now. Mercedes Schlapp, ACU Foundation Senior Fellow and former Trump White House Advisor for Strategic Communications. Leslie Marshall, Fox News contributor. Great to see you both. Okay, so Mercedes, let's just start here. You know, you always watch the intrigue from opposite the political aisle. Oh, look, the other guys are broken. But this time it's not so much about being broken, it's about being out of options.
Right. I thought it was very interesting how President Biden says, well, if I'm in the health that I'm in, well, let's talk about political health, right? We know that in your first year of office, that's when you use up most of your political capital. Your numbers should be, you know, you're still in that popularity range, especially if you're a Democrat president. We've seen his numbers go down significantly. The American people are losing confidence in this president, in this administration, for their inability to handle this pandemic in a really apt way. Also, in failing to deal with the border issue, which we know has been disastrous. And then you've seen what has happened in Afghanistan as well. All these things and the economy. So you go down the whole list, and the American people are saying, what's going on here with our current president? So what I'm hearing just with Democrat friends, you know, they're very concerned. But as we know with politics, it's still a long time to go. We got to get through the midterm elections, and then you start really having these discussions within the party to see if President Biden is going to run again, or are they going to look for another option, which my guess is, Harris, that they are going to go find a progressive option to basically, even if Biden were to run, to basically push him farther to the left.
Oh, now that's an interesting topic. Let's stick with that for a second, Leslie. So the party, if it is going to tip farther to the left, who would that new name be, possibly, that our reporter Alexandria Hoff was just talking about? Because it's not going to be Bernie Sanders, not new, and the party already spit him out.
Well, Bernie certainly would hope it'd be Bernie Sanders. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think that my party knows the majority of our voters are moderate and centrist like myself, as well as the majority of the elected officials. We saw what happened in Virginia. We saw what nearly happened in New Jersey. And we do see these polls. Mercedes, I do agree with her that we are 3 years out. It is right now a lifetime away. But these numbers are not something that make me happy. A number I did see this morning that makes me happy is the newest numbers with a congressional ballot if held today. Republicans have lost more than a 2-point edge over Democrats in a congressional election. So, you know, this is a very different time than we've had in the past when others have primaried people in their own party, whether Democrat or Republican. We are in this pandemic. And Americans, as you know, forget what we had for lunch the week before last, often, if not a few days ago.
Well, they're not going to forget the pandemic.
Feel the same way. Number one is the economy. No. Number two is COVID. And we're going to have to see where we are when we're closer to the general election. But numbers do have to come up for the president.
They're not going to forget the pandemic and the fact that after a year, this president hasn't come up with anything new. They're not going to forget the fact that the estimate for numbers from the experts that would know, like the testing czar with the last administration who did this program yesterday, Dr. Giroir, pediatrician looking at this, said that it's more likely north of 1.5 million cases that we're churning every day because our testing is so bad. I don't think people will forget that. That's part of our historic footprint of the pandemic right now. Let's move to this. Out with the old, in with the new. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to step aside next year after nearly 20 years in the position. And the Washington Post is reporting that the party is looking to younger leadership in Democrat caucus chair Hakeem Jeffries. CNN's Allison Camerata interviewed the woman who wrote that article and scoffed at the idea anybody could do the job Pelosi has done. I feel like we're having the same conversation now, but not about the White House, this time about the House Speaker. And we'll do it in reverse. We'll start with you, Leslie, your thoughts.
Well, Nancy Pelosi's worked very hard, and there are people left and right that love her, hate her, and respect her, or don't, but that is a sign of success.
So who's next?
You had mentioned Hakeem. You had mentioned Hakeem Jeffries. And Harris, you and I have spoken privately on set before COVID.
Well, he's been on the program.
I think we both.
Yeah.
Right. We've both been impressed by him, right? And a lot of people in my party are impressed by him because bridge that gap. That is essential. Both parties are always looking for fresher faces, newer leadership, younger leadership. But both parties have to keep in mind that our population is not getting younger right now. It's getting older. A majority of Americans will be seniors soon, boomers, as we know. So we can't just throw people out because they're older, because with age you have wisdom and experience. But Hakeem Jeffries is somebody who definitely gets along well with both factions, the more moderate centrist and the more left progressive. But I certainly don't want anybody pulling my party further to the left. That has not been good for my party, as we've
I don't
seen
know
in
if
the
you
last
can
election
fight that
cycles.
off. It'll be interesting to watch that. Hakeem Jeffries has done the program before, and he and Jason Chaffetz were in the House at the same time. They are friends, and it is interesting how far we have come from people actually, Mercedes, being able to get along and talk to where we are now. I don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is today. This is a different configuration right now, and if the speaker leaves, what does it look like?
Well, let's be realistic here. We know that there will not be a Democrat speaker come November. You're seeing all these retirements happen on the Democrat side. Some of them are in swing districts, like in Florida, for example, which is Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, who's retiring. And we're gonna pick up seats there on the Republican side. So I really think that what you're gonna end up finding is a farewell to Nancy Pelosi. She's smart to get out now because she knows that there's a good chance the Democrats are going to lose the midterm elections.
One last one for you, Mercedes, as we kind of look down the road, because I am curious about this too. The leadership for Republicans going forward, your thoughts?
Look, I think that they're a very unified front at this point. They know what they need to do to win the midterm elections. When you're talking about McCarthy, Scalise, Stefanik, I mean, they know they are focused on making sure that the American people are aware of how far left the Democrat Party has become. They're going to run on that, but they also got to run on a pro-America first agenda. That's critical. They have to run on something positive as well, letting the American people know what they can do to stop the left, to stop Biden's incompetency, and make sure that they're able to bring some wins for the American people.
Mercedes, Leslie, good to see you both. Thank you.